All right, anyway, well, we'll start the meeting. We have an approval of the last minutes, the September minutes.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? The minutes are approved. Okay, President's remarks. Oktoberfest was a great day, beautiful day. I thought it was fun. I was surprised. I thought more people should have showed up. Should have showed up. But I don't know. Well, Maria can tell us what we think was the people there. Due to some sort of miscommunications, the people that were handing out wrist straps apparently started handing them out late, and then nobody told them to count. So we're doing a, gee, we're gonna guess, we're gonna guess how many people were there. But anyway, it just seemed like less than I thought would have been.
The food line was packed.
Yes, well, free food, and people show up anywhere. And then the other big thing is it's unfinished business, but I'll take care of it here because there's really nothing to talk about on unfinished business. The water access point down on Surf, until we get the survey, we really don't know what we're talking about. And so it doesn't make a lot of sense to have a lot of conversation when we don't know what we're talking about.
Excuse me, Tony, I did see a stake in the ground.
It's only 40% done.
Okay.
It's only 40% done. That's what we're told.
That's what it was on Friday night,
Yeah.
like 41.2 or
But
something.
there we go.
For round numbers.
Oh, wow, that's, thank you.
41.2%.
We're 1.2% closer
That's right,
to
yeah.
non-inclusion.
Unless I'm misremembering, but yeah.
So, but anyway, with 41% of the results or whatever, and they haven't been explained to us either. So we'll wait until that comes in.
Who does the survey?
Pardon?
Do we have to pay for the survey?
Yes, of course.
Oh.
About
Was that
1,200.
Because we don't know, because we don't know.
We don't know. The truth is, on a lot of these properties that aren't built on, we don't know where the property lines are. And,
And with it half underwater, or more than
Yeah.
half underwater.
and most of that lot has washed away. So we don't know what's going on.
And just to be real clear, I had gotten a price from another company at about 3,000 for a survey. And then Mike spoke with COA, and they said, well, we could take the properties across the street and start as a starting point and maybe not do a full survey. So they charged us, I think, $12.50. So if more is needed, we might find that we're going to be needing.
Well, we can be giving it like a plaque drawing of where, because that's important, because you can't really tell what's going on if we don't have.
I'm not
that.
sure about that.
Yeah, we don't have answers to any of
Well,
that.
we should pay if we have to
What?
for that, because I don't know how we can
I
figure it
Well,
out. And that's my
Well, we
suggestion.
can burn that bridge when
Yep,
we get to it.
yep.
I just didn't want anybody thinking we're getting a full survey for $12.50 and come back and say, oh, by the way, it's going to be $2,000 more.
More, yeah, but anyway, we'll get to that more off Sunday.
So Oktoberfest, so we'll do that. I did hear Bruce say he thought about 110 people had come.
Wow.
So just want to say thanks to everybody that helped. You.
Yeah,
I shall also.
Give it enough time, she'll find a way.
I'll find the right people. I shall also, and I know others were out of town, and we can't always do everything, so I get that. So I also attended a webinar, maybe a week and a half or two ago, on traffic calming devices. It just happened to be pop-up like the week after. It wasn't very helpful. Thankfully, I got a point during my next certification, but thankfully there was no charge for it, so I'm like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, it didn't, it talked about, the speed detection cameras you see, about a community purchasing one of those. So it was all online, so I'm, Googling how much that gonna cost, like $3,200.
Oh.
So I sent an email, because you could send questions and so on. Do you have any other sources? This is what I'm seeing. But it's only an hour webinar, and there's a lot of people attending, a lot of questions being fired at them. And they say all of the questions will be answered, just give us time. But I've not gotten any feedback on it, so I
Did they say how much time did they mention a month?
perhaps a year.
Yeah.
So no. As you know, I'm filing claims. I filed just 3 so far, I've got 3 more to file, 1 I'm holding on to because I don't know what to do with it, and then I filed 4 liens also. And that's basically it, except I'll be out of town this week, Thursday and Friday, going camping.
Camping or
Glamping,
glamping?
I knew one of you would say it, so okay, glamping, whatever. And then the second week, I think it is, of November, I'm going to Phoenix, will not be camping. So when we get to talk about the meeting, we'll have to maybe
Yeah, okay, we'll figure it
jostle
out.
that around. That's it.
All right, good. Well, why don't we just go right around the table? Start with roads and development or whatever.
We did receive an invoice from Shiai. And so just to give you a little backstory, usually when they do the paving and they're going over on asphalt, we keep a running tab of how much they're using, how much they're going over. And we expect 10% about every year, which was typical for this year also. But this year, they went over on the backing, which is the CR6 that goes on the side. And, I mean, it's my understanding they gave us a fixed firm price on a linear amount of CR6 they were going to put down. Was a price based on the linear amount, which was $211 per linear foot. And so when they actually put it down, they doubled the amount of CR6 that they put down. And as a result, they've doubled the amount of cost for the backing, which means they've charged us an extra $24,000 for CR6 that basically wasn't in the quote that we gave them. And I can understand how they went over on CR6, because they measure it at 1.5 inches, which is what we asked for on the paving. But what happens is a lot of times it has to go a little bit further down, into a swale, or the road is actually on the edge. They pave a little higher, 4 inches, 5 inches sometimes. But I don't think we should be paying the labor. And the other thing is they never updated me on, hey, we're going over. And if it was 10%, I'd totally understand, okay, that happens. But they never warned me, never said anything. So my suggestion is that we pay them for the material cost, but not the labor.
How much
It is
was the
something
labor
which
charge?
is- The entire charge was about $24,000. I've got the number here, but I can put my glasses on. It was $24,406.37. So the labor, if you base what they did, and I have a sheet. There's only 5, so we can share. I had to give me all the tickets for the CR6, so that I could go through it and make sure they were actually charging us for
We could share it.
use. Yeah, and,
Okay.
One more?
No, it's sort of, funny, because there's not everybody's here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see, I just did a little table there, it showed how much CR6 we actually use. So the number you see there above the green is the actual total that they put down for the roads this year. And then what I did was I took 50% of that and looked online. The average cost for a ton of CR6 is about $50. So I just kind of did that calculation, and I feel like if we're gonna pay them for the CR6, we should just pay for materials.
So that would be the 9,000.
That would be the 9,000.
9,000 versus what they want to charge us.
24,406.
What was the
my
total?
thought on that is that
What was the total job?
the total
How much
job,
they charged the total?
their quote or their actual price that came in at.
What did they come in at?
They came in at 266,484, and my original quote when we first started this was 269,317. So they still came in under mine, but I added like 10%, and thought prices were going to go up, because of inflation and everything. So I was a little aggressive on my quote.
Do you mean?
Was
Well,
your
yes.
budgeted, or when you say quote?
It was kind of my
Yes,
quote
it's
that I
your
did
your
as a
estimate,
project
your
manager. I don't know what the budget actually is.
Your estimate was
Your
My
360.
estimate, yes.
So
Okay,
they're
that's
coming
fine.
in, they're coming in at 8 or 9% of the total cost after the fact.
Well, their bid was 220.
Right, their
Their
bid was
bid was
222.
220.
Yeah, so their bid was 222, but, you know, we went over by about $20,000 in asphalt, which was about 10%. And then we added the riprap, which was another almost $3,000. And then, you know, I mean, that alone, I mean, when you add that and our 29 over came to, I think it was with 10%. I gotta put that number in here. And then I can, but it should have been somewhere around 250.
I was just curious about the total against, you know, that's just the total versus what they're over. And they've been a good vendor.
Yeah, they have been, and I mean, they, you know, like I said, they were giving me, they would let me know, hey, we went over by, 10 tons on this road. You know, and then, and I would do a little calculation in my head and go, okay, that's fine, ask them why. A lot of times it was they had to put wedging in, like on Leeson Drive, that road was a mess, they actually had to pay twice,
So that-
so.
But it also goes over in the cost on asphalt. I mean, that's not
Right,
unusual
yeah.
for that.
Yeah, and they've never really said, hey, we used, this many tons of, CR6, now we're in the hole on this, so.
Well, what do you think the reaction is gonna be when you tell them we'll pay for material but not for labor?
I don't know. Yeah, I think from the conversation I had with him on the phone, he felt bad about having to tell me this. So he's feeling a little guilty about going over and not letting me know before now. So I have a feeling that he probably, and if you think about it, they're doing the labor, right? They're just putting down a little bit more, right? And then rolling over a little bit more. So the labor is really kind of the same whether you're doing, double that amount of CR6, or half. So so labor shouldn't be double, to be honest. I
Yeah,
mean,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It's not like
agree.
they did another, 11,000 feet of,
It just convinced me.
What would be, what is our contractual obligation? What does it say within the document that where is our leverage point, good, better?
Yeah, and that's kind of the weird part, because with asphalt, it's okay for them to go over a little bit because we're expecting it. But I'm not sure if we were fixed firm on the linear footage and that cost.
Here's the statement of work
Was
there.
it?
It talks about the CR6 and it says all necessary, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It says,
Going to-
Yeah. It's like the third paragraph there.
No, but I think
Let's let him read that and then, so he can concentrate. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it does say, it says, payment will be full compensation for placing all material, compaction, labor, equipment, tools, and incidentals necessary to complete the work.
Labor.
But your point is well taken, that what has happened is not X amount of linear feet have been added, it's X amount of depth have been added within the same linear feet, so it's the same amount of labor to put it in place.
Yeah. Well, I could go back to him and ask him to come up with a fair labor charge for 3 inches as opposed to the,
Yeah.
1.5
Yeah,
inch.
because it's not like they added X number more linear feet. Now then you can say, it's more linear feet, it's more labor. But if you're just adding more inches, it's gotta be compacted. Is it the same labor, or is it a small marginal increase in labor cost?
Yeah, and I think that's what we need to have.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's not that.
Ask him that, ask him what they think.
All right. Sounds good.
Is this, You said that he's a good contractor, so they basically screwed up in communicating to you, you know, and advising you of the latter part of this job.
Right.
So, which happens, and they need to take responsibility for that, but overall, they've been a good contractor. So it appears to me that some negotiations are in order.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to point out they're in kind of a weak position because they were the only bidder we could attract this year.
True,
So,
It puts us into a weak
And,
position.
yeah.
It'd be better if we had alternatives, which we don't.
Well, but let's see what their reaction
Yeah.
is, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
We're not shoving it down their
Yeah.
throat, we're just asking for
Justification,
a,
really.
well, a more fair
Yeah.
estimate of the labor costs,
Right.
and adding not linear feet, but depth.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you
We're
go around and
zero
look
and
at
they're
their
24, and we'll
So
find ourselves in between.
we'll see where we can come out.
Yeah, and maybe next year we need to do, order it a little different,
Mhm.
you know? And if they wanna do it by the ton, you know, we'll see if they wanna come up with a different price. Cause I know last year they probably did the same things, they did the same type of job. If you go around and look at any of these roads, you'll see how much CR6 is actually packed on the side of these roads, I mean, it's quite a bit. But yeah, I'll go back with them, I'll find out if we can, well, I'll ask for a better,
Yeah, see what their reaction is.
yeah.
So all we can do is ask. We're gonna have to pay something anyway, so let's just see what we're gonna have to pay.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
how's this gonna affect the future of the contract?
So this contract will actually be over, it's done, the
Oh, is
job's
it?
finished.
Oh, okay.
Right, so next year, you know, when we put the bid out again, they'll give us a new quote. and,
Okay.
You know, again, maybe we'll rewrite the bid to be a little more specific on how they're gonna charge us for that. Or what we're looking for. Because I like the fact that they're not just putting an inch and a half down, you know, because now we don't have a lip on the road, and it does eventually settle. You know, so if we're asking for an inch and a half, and it gives an inch and a half, we're probably gonna be happy.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
And Rhea, just, go ahead.
No, and keeping it, well, we're all done with that part, and keeping with that, I did not include you in an email.
There's one.
Yes.
No, I've got it, before we get to that, I've got you in the back.
There you go, okay,
Yeah.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we checked it out.
Rhea
I thought it was simpler
pointed
until
out
that
that
24,000.
part of what we have is the affirmation for the email approval. Remember, when this was already started, it came out that they had to put in larger stone rather than the CR6 or whatever
Right.
in some places, and it was gonna cost $1,800 more.
I think the cost differential there was around 1,800 or so.
It was, yeah, the estimate, they actually went a little bit further, with it, it wound up being about 320 feet of, riprap as opposed to, I think it was, we estimated, I ran a wheel on it, but they actually went a little bit further, because they hadn't put the CR6 down yet, so they went on Cardinal, they went from the stop sign, I measured from the stop sign to the driveway, they went around the stop sign to the end of the road. So it wound up being a little over 2,000.
Yeah, but anyway, we approved it by email, but now we sort of have to affirm that.
Just for the record.
Yeah, do we have somebody who wants to make a motion to affirm our previously approved email?
So moved. You write
Is
it
there a
down.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that was done. Now, the next step is Alan brings us something where the CR6 is washing down the hill.
I'm sorry, I did not include
And,
you in the email.
And Bonnie and I walked
Yeah.
past
Is
it.
it on Eagle?
No, that's on beach, but it's
Oh, on beach.
552.
Yeah, and this is from last year.
No, it actually, it did it last year, and I cleaned it up, and it did it again, I cleaned it up, and now it did it again.
Yeah.
It means the work was done last year.
Yeah, the work was done
Oh, yeah.
last year, and we tried to slow it down with some of the
Mhm.
stone, we could extend the stone down.
Yeah, either that or is there some, can we use riprap instead of the CR6? Because you can see how it happens.
Right.
The road is of course crowned and it's starting to go downhill. The water's washing this way, coming down this way, and it's just
And it
washing it
goes-
right
goes
down
across the
across the
street.
street.
Near the beach entrance,
Yeah.
the,
Yeah, I was doing it, I actually went out there like twice last year.
That's it,
We're
we
gonna
got
lower and push to. So we have the riprap, there's about 20 feet of riprap or 30 feet of riprap, we could just bring that further down.
Yeah,
And I think
I
they're
think that's
quite-
probably what we have to do
Yeah.
there, because I mean, you can see that it's also starting to cut into the lawn, or, you know, the soil part, and it's eroding it in some places. And-
Further up, it's doing that. too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is
I
a
didn't
trough
see
at
that.
the top of the, on top of the riprap. Before, there's a trough, riprap, and then rest down,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Tony
And
described.
it's very nicely, it becomes all of this fancy
Yeah.
stuff, no, it's stones in the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I'll get a price for that.
Yeah, let's see what we have.
Riprap down with that. There's actually 2 other spots, from the paving this year where it's doing it, and it's not like something you can sort of see before that happens, so it's happening coming down Eagle, you know, on the right side as you're coming down Eagle to Bayview, or is it like Bayview? And then there's another place where it's doing it, on Cardinal, before it hits Laurel, but I think there's a culvert there that's clogged, and the water was washing over the road. So that last rain we had a couple of weeks ago was really heavy. I went out after that and just wanted to look to see where we were getting the stones washed out. And those were the 2 areas I found.
Well, like, if you could establish whether or not that one culvert is clogged, jammed.
I'm
And then
pretty sure it is.
let's price all, I guess we have to get individual prices for each one, but we ought to price all 3 of them and
Yeah.
do it before it becomes too much, more of a problem, let's put it that way.
You still have some items on your list that you're working on anyway.
Dude, he's working on it. I think he had one more utility thing to go out there.
Well, I meant also a list of items not yet bid,
Yeah, yeah.
so this could be,
We did that.
yeah, he's still working on it.
So we'll put together a new list of hot items, basically, things that we want to get done.
Anything else for roads and general maintenance? John, how are we doing with safety? How safe am I?
Well, I'll tell you, I met with the county emergency management, and he came down and we met and we were talking about how to educate the community and reconnect with the Webber EOC. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that. Is the way how Emergency Operations Center, which we have here for the community operates, and how we communicate with the county. And what he was saying was that he can get us set up with the Webber EOC, gave me a link.
Okay.
And, but I know we don't have a computer back there. so-
Well, there's a computer, it's pretty old.
Right.
I mean, have you tried booting it up? The monitor, I couldn't,
Yeah, I didn't even see the monitor. Is
and
it
I
on?
stole the television that you don't.
Okay, that's what's missing. I didn't
That's
see
what's
that.
missing. I
Yeah,
stole it because my my second monitor gave out, and I remembered from my daughter saying, Mom, you could use a television as a monitor, and so I took that. So, I don't know, we need to work and see.
I don't know, I mean, I don't know if we need that, or maybe, I don't know, if we share that, put it
Yeah,
on yours.
you can do that.
Maybe we
I don't,
don't need to get a
yeah,
new one.
because usually if something's going on, I'm not necessarily here anyway.
Yeah.
If it snows, I don't come over. Work from home.
Talk about
I just-
sissy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he shared with me some information about, some trainings and stuff that they having for the community, all of Calvert County.
Okay,
And there's a training tomorrow, I know it's short notice, but
yeah.
when future ones come, I was wondering, can we post that stuff on our webpage?
I can, and I can send out community
And
emails.
send it out to
But a
everyone.
question, is this the CERT, the Community Emergency Response
So I
Team?
asked about that too, he said that kind of went away,
Okay.
because of liability, or going into people's
Liability,
houses.
well, for our part, liability might have entered into it. I recall Peter Holt mentioning that as well.
Yeah.
But the other issue was, because you were certified, you
I
were your
was certain, but I
cert.
will tell you, I only went to the training.
Probably
but
out of
we never
date,
did any
whatever.
type of
But
exercise.
what we discovered was that had there been an emergency in the county, you could have been called up to Denver because you're cert. Well, we want people here. We don't want to lose you to Denver
Oh,
or
yeah,
wherever.
Yeah, well,
So if that's what the training is, and that would obligate us to go somewhere, wherever they tell us to go, you know, we want our people here, so I don't know. That's a
from
question
your
to
point,
ask.
just to That's a good point. Only thing I can think of, if we was to go somewhere, we would sign here, if there was no need here, and
Oh,
they need
okay.
additional resources.
Well, that makes
somewhere.
sense.
Something like
That
that.
makes sense.
But I'm saying.
But it was kind of at that point that we stopped encouraging people to be certified. So,
Well, yeah, they're not even doing it.
I know, that's a good point.
So, yeah, so once they give me the new trainings and
Okay.
stuff, maybe we can post it on our website
Yeah,
or
yeah,
broadcast that out.
yeah.
Another part of this is, the comms, the communications.
Mhm.
There's a group called the Oxcom, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, that's something that Peter was involved with. These folks, if there is a disaster,
Mhm.
they dispatch them to different communities like ours, and they'd be able to communicate with the EOC, fire department,
Right,
emergency services, stuff like that.
okay.
The thing we don't have is, we don't have a licensed operator. So when they have one, that they will assign to us.
Okay. You mean like for the ham radios?
For the ham radios.
Yeah.
He came down, he checked the ham radios, everything is working.
Oh, good.
He did point out there's some shrubs and stuff growing up on the antenna. We have to clear that off.
There's two antennas.
Yeah, right,
So the
back
wood,
here.
the old pole, I don't think that's the one we actually use. We
No,
left it
there's
in
another
place.
one.
There's another one just to the left,
Yeah,
and is it also overgrown?
it's overgrown,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So we recommend we trim that. He also mentioned too, how we feel about if there's an emergency, it could happen at any time.
Mhm.
And I don't know how it was done in the past, but they would have to have access to this.
Well, we could.
I don't know how we do that.
Well, we could give them the number, you've got the number, I gave it to you, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't feel about
Would we want to give it to just, like the police department has it, the sheriff's office has it,
that. Okay.
they don't use it, I don't think, other than maybe they come in and eat, but or something, they use the bathroom.
We're having enough crumbs.
I can recall the past 20 years, maybe twice, when the sheriff's deputy brought a kid in and sat him down and, kind of read him the riot act, probably in the background. But other than that, but that's sort of what it started out to be, like a police substation almost. And it really, I don't think, ever turned into that completely. There was fingerprint set up in the back as well. But now, of course, they don't do it that way.
Well, and
It's digital.
they have the substation now.
Oh, yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's no
Right.
need for that.
No, but what one benefit was simply that a police car out front on
Oh,
occasion,
sure.
a little bit of a presence.
Yeah.
Somebody drive by and say, oh, maybe I'm stealing something tonight. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, we could give them the number. I don't see why not. Or maybe they would work through you, or they would work through a board member. And,
Okay, yeah.
oh, there's something going on, yeah, here's the number, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I can do that, I can work with them.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, I don't know that we should just
Give
hand
it
it out
to
to
them,
everybody.
yeah.
I try to keep things locked up, because then they'd also need the access to my desktop. That I wouldn't be comfortable with. For you, yeah, if I'm not here, you wanna get on the thing, and I don't want everybody seeing my
Yeah, sure.
QuickBooks and what we have in checking, and
Right.
looking for the checkbook, all that.
Also, we just give them another username.
A few wrong
Oh,
keystrokes,
Yeah,
and,
Delete stuff.
we would be sunk.
so another username,
Yeah,
so then they wouldn't have access to everything?
A different profile, yeah, they wouldn't have access to your documents.
Do you know how to do that?
All that.
You know how to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we had a couple on there before we merged.
I don't-
Along those lines, just a curious question, is the QuickBooks backed up somewhere
Oh, yes.
that
It's
it's
on-
like a
it's
hard
on the
drive not in
cloud.
the building?
It's on the cloud, it's on an external hard drive, it's on a thumb drive that I take out here with me, should it be a file. We should be pretty good.
Okay.
And one last thing, they wanted to know if they can have, start up their club again, regularly.
The radio club, I would say yes, I mean, that way, because you said we need a registered user, right, a licensed.
Yes, license, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a good, it's been missing since Peter
Yeah.
passed away.
Okay, so they would have to come, they would come down here, figure out.
And that's not new, didn't we
No,
used to
Peter,
have it?
yeah, Peter, John McCall, who's
Okay.
passed away a number of years ago now, but they were certified or whatever, licensed ham radio operators.
Okay.
I think Peter even had equipment in his house that he would, did, so I thought.
Now, this equipment, is it our equipment or is it Peter's?
It's our equipment, I believe. I think that both he and John purchased stuff, donated stuff, and I would say that, I don't think anybody's gonna walk through and say, hey,
How
that
was
used to
that?
belong to my father, I want it back.
How was
And
that?
I kind of think we've inherited it just by virtue of the fact that they're welcome.
The old
We
possession.
did buy a lot of
And
equipment.
we purchased equipment and reimbursed them for some, but then some they donated. Now, unless there's somebody, recall the man from CRE that interacted for a bit and he was having issues at CRE? I don't know, somebody that was in that radio group might at some point say, hey, I'm the one that, and I'd like it back. I have no way of knowing, and to my understanding, it belongs to the association now. But you know, periodically, they would come in, and I would be here, and they would do a radio check. But I think Peter usually met them in off hours. I wasn't here too often for that to happen.
Okay. Any questions? Jack?
Well, the budget, you know, no news on the budget, which is good news, we're just exactly where we want to be. Today, for the first time, I was looking at the policy and procedures manual, and the treasurer is supposed to monthly look at all transactions, bank statements and expenditures, etc. Never done that. Well, today I tried. And he was very patient with me,
We were fine.
but it was, yeah, it's not that much of a problem, and it's not that much of an effort. But, you know, it says I should do it, so I did it. And I'll do it monthly as it suggests.
Any questions?
We're just grateful you do it.
You
Nobody wants to be a treasurer.
didn't hear anybody say a nasty word.
No way.
I didn't see any hand shooting.
Nope, not at all. Anything to add to the general,
Well, the welcome committee, there's no report, so.
I didn't get to you.
I thought you were going to.
I don't have a view.
Doesn't matter, everybody gets
No.
a chance to talk.
No,
Okay,
no.
now
No
you
report.
go.
No report, sorry.
Okay, no welcome report. I already had my piece.
First of all, about the fragments, have you gotten a bill from work yet? You know, we were walking around that day, we looked at Martinez property, and went to the community beach, and then we went and saw the stuff you had talked about. And I saw some fragmites that were still alive, and I think the weather might just not have been cooperating with them. So I'm gonna give them a text this week and
Okay.
find out the status.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
Anything to add on?
Ivy League's gonna start up on November 9th, second Saturday in November. I haven't chosen a lot yet. I'll do that within the next 2 weeks. Put something together and send it to Rhea so she can send it out.
Keep in mind, I'll be checking email, and I should be able to, from Phoenix, get online, send out the community email, because that's all done online. I don't do it directly from the desktop.
You're not leaving till the second week, though?
Second, I'd have
So
to
that
rush
is the
it.
second week, so
Yeah.
you would probably do it before you left.
Well,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, I'll try to.
Very good, good catch.
Well, I get on notification because so many
Yeah.
people have plans that
I
I
know.
think it should go out a couple weeks ahead.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you, I didn't realize, what you were saying there. The other thing, Bruce Fall was going to be here tonight, and he didn't come in. He wants to get on a future agenda. Recall at the membership meeting, he talked about the land trust, tackling
Yes.
some of the ivy on the trees, on the lots owned by the trust. So he wanted to, I think, just sit in and maybe interact with you guys to see how that might work, to kind of.
We currently do that.
Well, they wanted, they own like 70, they said 77, I think I have them now for like 80 lots. So I think they want to tackle it maybe more than just the ivy, but in a bigger way than what has been done. More people and so on. They just want to try to get, take, I know, it's getting the volunteers. I
Yeah.
think does Bruce help on some of these?
Bruce
You're right.
does help,
Bruce does help,
yes. Mhm.
I think they just want to take it on more than what they have in the past, and maybe try to get more volunteers. So that would be good.
Mhm.
So
We'll
there's
have
that.
to wait and see on that.
Well, and I was wondering, I know when you first started this, you come in and look and try to determine, well, where can we work? We don't wanna get on somebody's private property. The association owns all those blue tags or association lots.
Mhm.
And I would think, I don't know if we need to give you permission, but I would certainly think you could, go on any of those properties.
And we have done that in the
Have you?
past.
Okay,
And I've done it on the
SCLT,
SCLT lots as well,
okay,
and then we've done it on the right of way.
yeah,
On
that should
some-
be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe heading into the club,
Mm.
because it's lots, I mean, the lot is flat,
Mhm.
easy accessible,
Is it,
and, I don't know if we wanna do that and just stick to our lots here, or what, but,
The only thing that I would say, not being a Drum Point Club member,
uh-huh,
is that I'm fine if you wanna do that, except I really want my community done.
true,
seems like there's a
And-
lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
because
maybe Bruce could
there,
take over.
yeah, there is so much in the community, whereas you've got a membership, the Drum Point Club members,
Yeah.
that might could be drafted to go in there.
to do it
makes
themselves,
sense.
yeah.
That's my only
Yeah.
comment, and I'm not fighting it, I'm just saying, I think we need to think more about our.
True.
That's where
Well,
we
believe
see.
it or not, I have a hard time finding a lot that's gonna be, workable,
These,
you know?
yeah.
So,
Well, we can
But-
wait and see what he says,
Yeah.
what he
Yeah.
asks
Yeah.
for, or
And
what
if-
what
and
he'd like.
and if anybody in your travels are looking around and you see a lot that has a lot of ivy on it, you think, that's a good candidate.
I did
Let me know.
ask Joe to clear out, because there's that tree behind the office. I think I
Oh, yeah.
mentioned it to you. It was getting too late into the year, getting too into the warm weather, so you couldn't do it then. But I'm pretty sure Joe did clear out, so you should maybe be able to get back to that one if you want to. It's a pretty big tree, and it's
Okay.
pretty covered with ivy quite a bit.
While we're talking about this in terms of education, because I think there are a lot of people that simply don't know.
They
And
don't
it's-
believe.
And they don't, and true, they don't believe, but, now this is just brainstorming, which I love to do. Why couldn't we at some point have a little session where people could say, where we encourage people to do their own lots? Now, I realize some don't care, that we're always gonna have that, but, to be honest with you, I've helped do my neighbor's lot, cause she's not able to do it. And her son, and, but she didn't know. So I don't know.
Well, we
just
do
something to
put,
think
we do
about.
put links in the email that goes out on
Right,
how to do it.
yeah,
I also put something out on the Facebook page
okay.
and with links on how to do it, and,
Okay.
I think it's on the
Probably
website
not
as
more-
well.
Probably not much.
Some
we can
people
do
think
than
the
that.
ivy looks nice
I
and trees.
know,
And it
it's just like
does.
feeding the deer.
Until the tree falls on you.
It's ivy, what does it look like? I don't even-
English ivy.
English ivy.
English,
I
yeah.
don't know what that looks like.
Just around the trees.
Yeah, the stuff that
That's
grows
not
on, go to
the
any
tree.
English
Yeah, 'cause
movie,
I
the
see
stuff
it.
growing up the side of the house,
Ah.
that's it.
Well, some of it has darker leaves with little
Berries.
highlights on it, and others is,
Well, there's more than one invasive
Yeah.
weed. I mean,
Yeah.
we're just doing
absolutely, yeah.
English ivy, right? At
Yes,
this point,
yeah.
because that's
Let's not look it
the priority, yeah,
Google.
yeah.
Or the next time you get that email that says, that's in session, you could click on the link and I'll bet that would show you.
Do you ever
Was
have
there an image
teenagers?
of it in the newsletter? Because I know there was.
There has
a
been in
little
the past.
blurb about
There
it,
has
but-
been in the past, and then I send an email out to the community with that link that James talked about.
If you Google English ivy, you'll see
Yeah,
it.
you'll see it.
Yeah.
Do you ever have teenagers helping?
No,
You
I
can-
contacted the school
I was gonna
regarding
say, yeah.
volunteer hours for them.
Yeah.
And the person in charge of hours for students put it out there, but nobody,
Okay.
nobody.
Yeah.
So-
It's not glamorous.
What's that?
It's not glamorous.
No.
Yeah.
Nice, what do I look like?
But do they get credit, so like community?
They would get community service
Service,
credit
yeah.
for school, yeah.
Did you go to the courthouse?
Maybe it's just too hard to do, maybe it's just too hard work.
Yeah.
It's outside, it's in the woods, it's hot.
And Mary's not gonna be there with my, water right now.
Yeah. Kids don't
Alan, we took care of your issue. Do you have anything else?
No, thanks for looking at the rock thing, and Rhea, if they don't get back to us on traffic calming solutions, I can bundle together some things.
Okay, that'd be
I
great.
know some people that have a variety of options.
Okay.
I can just bundle it together, or I'll bundle it together, and if
Regardless?
regardless,
Okay.
and send it over to you and circulate it within the group.
All right, well, I took care of unfinished business in my comments. New business, is there any new business? Love it. Okay, we have to schedule a new meeting, or the next meeting.
The first Tuesday of November is election
That is
day.
scheduled for the 19th.
It is, Susan just reminded me,
Yeah.
cleanup day is October 19th.
Yes.
That should have been in my report.
Yes. Well,
Um,
I got it on my calendar.
Well, I know, but it's good to bring it up.
Yeah.
The first Tuesday is election day, but, and then the second Tuesday, the 12th.
But
we
does that
probably will be-
make a difference
these days,
for
but
for our
It may
meeting?
not, because people voting early and such, it may not.
Oh.
I mean, I don't
Oh, I know
know.
Mike Snap always works the booth, yeah.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
volunteers?
Oh,
Okay.
A volunteer.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
okay.
So I was gonna
But
suggest
you're,
actually,
but you're gone the second week.
I'm gone the second week, so I was going to suggest, and I think we did this last year, to hold a meeting Thursday the
Thursday.
7th.
Yeah, yeah.
We've done that before.
That could work.
All right.
What day is it?
It's a Thursday.
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 No, we could do Wednesday, but that's what we've done in the past.
No, that's good.
Tuesday, Thursday, we're on.
All right, Thursday the seventh.
So we talking November 7th?
Yes, okay, and I'll send an email to all the board, and, so that Mike knows and Asha. And hopefully, that'll.
Thursday, November 7th.
Okay.
It's a done deal.
Does anybody have a problem with that?
Nope.
We're all talking like it's fine. Okay, good. And then, does anybody have any last words? Good, let us all go home and enjoy